Hey, thanks everybody for coming out to Pitch Day for 100K. We're coming to you from WeWork at Town Square in Las Vegas. And I always think it's a great day to pitch. We love doing these fortnightly sessions. And today, we're going to hear from Sam Simmons from MintPass. He's going to be up first as soon as I'm done yakking. So, and congratulations to Sam for getting through our process, where about 15 to 20 companies go through the process for every person who actually gets to come out on pitch day. So, and I apologize, but not that much for putting you through a bit of a grind to get here, because we want to make sure that everything goes well. Startup NV is Nevada statewide nonprofit incubator and accelerator. And we operate seven programs for entrepreneurs or founders, if you prefer, and four for-profit investment funds and syndicates that do investing, so much of the investing that you've heard lots of people on different panels talking about. We do a lot of that. Now, our nonprofit is supported by government grants and by corporate sponsors in the short term. And over the long term, the accelerator companies who get investment from us pledge a small amount of their equity to the nonprofit, and our investors pledge 25% of their profits, or 5%, it's called a carry, to the nonprofit as well. So as our companies and our investors succeed, the actual nonprofit receives money from that. And that way we don't hopefully have to be begging for government grants forever, but probably for the next 5 or 6 years. So we run Pitch Day for 100K every other Wednesday, where companies come out for the Q&A and for entry into our accelerator program and the investment that comes from Fund NV, which is our pre-seed fund. And now that's added to by our investor syndicate. And that gets matched. That whole thing gets matched by Nevada's SSBCI program. Now, since 2021, we've done 31 transactions in 23 companies that have invested just over $5 million. And those investments range anywhere from $50,000 at the low end, and our biggest one to date has been $1.8 million. The average from all those numbers is about $240,000 when we do make an investment. Between all of that, about $240,000 is what the company actually ends up with. Now, I got a disclaimer I got to read. The founders pitching today for investment are pitching to our SEC compliant venture capital funds, along with our SEC accredited and Nevada certified investor network syndicates. We invite the whole community to attend. Got a big group of people here today. Thanks very much. For educational purposes, kind of like watching Shark Tank. Sorry to see Mark Cuban is leaving the show. I think I saw that on social media today. And the educational component that is critical to our development mission here in Nevada. So once again, the pitches today are not a general solicitation for investment. For information about accredited investors and Nevada certified investor programs, jump on our website, startupnv.org, or you can just Google it. You'll find a lot of information about that. So our nonprofit would not be possible without funding from grants and sponsors from the City of Las Vegas, Clark County, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, the EDA, and the USDA. Thanks so much to those programs for the support of what it is that we're doing. So I've got a couple of announcements to make that are really specific to this week, and then we'll get to the pitches. Friday, the entire day is at Starbase. That's at 3905 West Diablo Drive. So come on out to Starbase for all the events on Friday. It's not here and it's not downtown. On Friday, it's at Starbase. Tonight it's here. Tomorrow it's at Innovation downtown. So at Starbase, we're going to be doing a startup showdown, which is an opportunity for you to pitch your startup in an artistic way. So that means you can set it to music, you can do a rap, you can maybe do a poem, you can act it out, you can rhyme it out. So we are still looking for a couple of presentations, and Kara's got her hand raised in the back of the room here. So if you want to do that, or even think you might want to do it, get with Kara and she will set you up for it. It should be a lot of fun. And no talent is required, which is, if I wasn't like helping to judge the contest, that would be me trying to get up there and do something clever. And if you're online and you're just not here today and you haven't seen Kara in the back of the room, just email her at kara@startupnv.org. So that was a lot of announcements, and it's taken way longer to get to the pitches than it usually does. So are you ready?
I think so.
Come on up here and start sharing your slides, Sam.
I'm ready for these strange questions.
Yes.
The more the merrier.
The strange questions usually come after and online.
That sounds fun.
But they are. Sometimes they're just weird.
Let me.
So, now I'm
there we go.
There we go.
So
everybody, please give Sam a nice warm welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Startup MD, for having me. Thank you for being here. I'm excited to hear more about MintPass, the ultimate travel inspiration app. So to start off with, I'd like to kind of talk through, the normal means for how our customers obtain their travel inspiration. So we'll look at Adventure Alice. She's a young traveler. She takes multiple trips per year, but her crown jewel on the travel calendar is her trip to Europe every summer. So Alice first goes to her social network. She's following those throughout the year. She oftentimes is seeing her friends post about their travel experiences. Inherently, there's a sort of glamorized view of travel. You don't get the full information. A lot of these experiences that happen offline aren't posted to social media. And for that matter, it's hard to glean out actionable insights from that inspiration as you see it. You obviously have travel influencers. Oftentimes these, again, are over glamorized. They're often subsidized by brands where the experiences are paid for by travel operators to then get you as the customer to invest in that experience for yourself. And then lastly, review sites to really hone in on specifics. There's obviously a lot of polarization that happens there when you consider positive and negative reviews. And for that matter, much of these are more of the pay-to-play type schemes where those at the top of the list are those that are paying the most money. So at the same time, we see a gross misalignment with how people actually prefer to make travel decisions, which is that 84% of travelers actually book their last trip based upon word of mouth recommendation. And for that matter, knowing that's the case, and as we talk to more and more customers, we're seeing time and time again that despite there not being the tool for this, much of this is happening manually offline. So it's tracking in Apple Notes, it's camera rolls, it's calendars, it's sheets. It is storing those recommendations, storing those activities offline to then be shared with others in the future as word of mouth recommendations. So I'm going to then jump into a quick story. So my wife and I have been together for 10 years. And since we've been together, every trip we take somewhere, we collect a Christmas ornament from everywhere we go around the world. So you see some of my favorites that we have here from Nashville, Dallas. You can probably guess the Pikachus from Tokyo, Japan. And all that combined, it's a funny thing because not one of these things in a vacuum actually has a lot of meaning. But around this time of year when we go and we start to set up our Christmas tree and our holiday decorations, we put all of these on the tree and it becomes a picture of who we are as people. And it's a picture of our experiences and it's a picture of our travel history, which inherently gives these things value beyond the glass, the clay, the plastic that comprise them. And so there's a really interesting phenomenon here where we see the psychology and the behavioral tendency of collectorship that plays so heavily into how people preserve travel memories. And we see that linking up with the need for that word of mouth recommendation based on travel experiences repository. And so we basically have come to this conclusion where how can we combine these two things to create a record of travel experiences around digital souvenirs? And basically what this looks like is a digital version of stamps on a passport. Think of a pinned map on the wall, but essentially a place where you could collect, preserve, and showcase travel experiences that's meant to not only inspire others, but a place for you to find inspiration from your friends as well. And that's what we're creating at MintPass. So essentially, it's a one-of-a-kind digital souvenir collecting experience. Whenever you travel, you collect a digital souvenir that showcases not only where you've been, but what you did while you're there. It allows you to showcase these experiences, a very highly shareable profile. It can be taken across other social platforms, put on top of a link tree. Basically, anyone who loves to travel, this is the destination for showcasing and verifying your experiences. There's third-party booking functionality as well. So we want to unlock potential for booking at the point of inspiration. So when you see an experience that your friend had and you want to replicate that experience for yourself, you can book that right then and there. And then to give credence and credibility to those that travel the most and have the greatest depth of experiences, we're introducing gamification mechanics to really recognize those with a sort of richness of travel history, and thus with the best recommendations. And then naturally, because it's an investor sort of thing, and I have to mention it, we'll also have ChatGPT plugged in for AI recommendations when we're using them. So the real flywheel effect here is basically that, the travel logging powers experience sharing, which powers bookings generated, which in turn powers travel logging. So it's meant to be this sort of cyclical effect where we introduce extrinsic rewards to intrinsic behaviors of sharing travel experiences, wherein, and I'll get to this in a second when I get into the business model, but essentially we want to reward people for sharing their recommendations, and we want to take a behavior that has previously been done automatically and done manually in such a way that allows those who are enabling the experiences of others to be rewarded. So for example, if I have this great experience at a hotel in Florence, I have that on my profile based on my digital souvenir collectorship. And at some future point in time, my friend is inspired to book that experience for themselves. I get rewarded in some way or another. And so obviously to power this, we need a pretty large supply network of travel partners to essentially, whenever there is experience logged via our platform, we have the ability to fulfill that with these various partners. And before we even launch, which is pretty unprecedented in the space, we have established a pretty strong network of affiliate partnerships with various travel operators. So we have OTAs and Hopper, Trip.com, Hotwire, and Hotel Planner, getting into experiences, Get Your Guide and Viator, cruises, Cruise Direct, Cruise Critic, airlines, Cheapo Air, Enjoy Travel, rental cars, Discover Car. There we go. All right. So looking at the market for this, what we really want to play is in personalized travel, and essentially that is the booking of experiences in digital mediums, and it's heavily curated and tailored on a per user basis to create for more immersive and more personalized travel experiences abroad. So we see that the total addressable market for that being 91.2 billion. Zeroing in on that further as a subset of that market, which we loosely take to be a 20% affiliate fee, which is about standard and in fact conservative for the industry at large. 20% of that total addressable market, we look at an $18.2 billion SAM. And then based upon current projections off of the model that I'm going to speak to in a second, we're projecting $200 million in revenues over the next 5 years to be our obtainable market. And that is with an assumption in mind of achieving 1 million users by that time. And looking at the business model, we look to integrate a mix of a affiliate and subscription model. So essentially what this looks like is much like the platform formerly known as Twitter, think of X, where you have the Twitter Blue layer, which basically allows for their power users ad revenue sharing based upon the impressions that you generate. We want to create similar for the affiliate side of the business, where for the power travelers, which we refer to as our verified tastemakers, if you will, those with the most travel experience and those with the best recommendations as such, we want to reward them not only with greater profile, customization, functionality, access, surfacing, and whatnot, but then also allow them to tap into the affiliate revenues that they generate. For all of those in the platform, it'll be free to use, but they will not get a cut of the affiliate revenues that are generated from their profile bookings. And for it to be specific on those, we're looking at a 20% blended rate for the affiliate revenues derived, and then $5 a month is a working assumption for subscription revenues. And then looking at our competition, obviously travel logging in and of itself is not new. What we really aim to do is introduce various gamification mechanics that enhance that travel logging experience, make it more sticky, and really make it more seamless, unlike what other travel logging experiences have allowed for. What we eventually don't want to do is take away from the travel experience itself. We've identified a real problem with our users, and we don't want travel logging, travel sharing to feel like a chore, whether that's creating content, whether that's capturing content, whether that's logging your activities. We want this to happen passively. We want it to be fun as it is rewarding. And then for go-to-market, we're going to be launching our MVP next month. That's going to be anchored by a campaign that we're calling In the World. Basically, we're setting up a cool landing page where we're crowdsourcing travel memories from around the world. Think of like the pinned map you have on the wall. We're inspired by the love locks on the bridge, if anyone knows that one in Paris, where you can kind of like write down a memory or write down a loved one and then put that on the bridge. We want everyone to come in as an interested party, an interested traveler, to basically pin their favorite travel memory with a picture that will then be surfaced to everyone who joins this network. And that will be a funnel into our user base, onto our wait list. Once we launch, we're going to be anchored by a brand social media launch. We've acquired travel-specific, organically grown pages that are going to bring us to 1 million+ followers for day one. In fact, those should be live today. We have a travel creator network that we're working on finalizing at the moment. That'll give us a larger network of 5 to 10 million followers. It's meant to drive early user acquisition amongst travel enthusiasts. And then that will lead into the beta rollout through our wait list, and will be coupled with various socially driven brand campaigns, activations with various travel partners to win free trips, free luggage, and other relevant goodies. So going over to the team, you have myself. I've been in Las Vegas for about 10 years, since 2014. I came here fresh out of college. Since then, most of my experience has been in media, working with a company called Poker Go. We did and do streaming production, distribution of live tournaments and events. Since then, I've gotten heavily into the weeds of the Web3 space, particularly by way of NFTs. I've been doing consulting, advisory, and investing there over the past few years. My co-founder, Aaron, very technical. In fact, he's a trained neuroscience turned coder. He's been leading dev teams for the past 10 years. He has corporate experience with AWS and Encore Capital. More recently, he's exiting a Web3 loyalty project called CloudChain as a multi-time founder. And then to support us, we brought in a star-studded list of travel-specific experts. Michael Marino used to run all of loyalty at Caesars International here in town. Shane Smith runs all product and partnerships at United Airlines. And we're actually in talks with a few other advisors who will be joining this in the weeks and months ahead that are more travel specific, getting into like experiences, OTAs, and booking. Yu Kai Chow, he's expert in gamification. He wrote Actionable Gamification, which is considered like the leading gospel for all things gamification.
Out of time.
And we're out of time.
So can you go to your ask slide so we can?
That's the last slide, so I wasn't that far off. But we're raising $750K on a $5 million cap safe at a 20% discount. We have half that round filled by Dream Ventures, our lead, who's taken $375K. So $375K more remains available. And this is intended to bring us to 10,000 users within the next 12 months.
Okay, thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
So thank you. So, but to all of our participants, thanks for tuning in. And thanks for being here and being such enthusiastic supporters today. Just a couple of program notes as we wrap up. Investors, if you're curious about how to get in on some of this action, either joining one of our funds or joining our syndicate, again, just jump on the website. There's a whole path for investors to get engaged with us, either in our syndicate or one of the funds that we're raising. And thanks again to the founders who pitched today and everybody who listened in. Yeah, I think we do have Pitch Day in 2 weeks. So we are not going to be here in 2 weeks. We will be back downtown in 2 weeks with Pitch Day. So until then, take care of yourself. And if you can, somebody else do. Thanks, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.